What's up, guys? Rudy and Jamal are back. Sorry, we took a little break after we finished our last instructional. We were so excited and happy to finish the first two parts that we both ran off to the Seattle Pride Parade for about a week. We both came back after our bender. Only one of us has an STD now, and we'll tell you who it is after the rest of this content. Thanks. All right, shot mechanics. Okay, wrestling doesn't start until the other guy pushes back. Some guy that's way better and more knowledgeable in wrestling than me said that. Don't remember his name. But when we actually start shooting on our partner, we can't shoot from too far away. This is too far away. If I start changing my elevation to try to shoot from here, I'll never get to my partner's legs. And especially if my partner is knowledgeable and sees me shoot from that far away, they're just gonna grab a guillotine as soon as they see me shooting in. And then, instead of sprawling, fighting my head, fighting my hands, the guillotine becomes his number one defense. So, to prevent that, we have to learn how to really dominate that push in our partner. For this drill, we're gonna make sure that we use the meat hooks. So, as we stand in front of our partner, all right, same thing. Head and hands are gonna make, or head's gonna make contact before hands do. My thumbs are on the inside of my partner's arms, and from here, I can begin to push my partner back. As I push my partner back, he needs to stop me with that break, so that now his weight is coming forward. My thumb is gonna pass over the top of his arm, so that I can now get purchase of my fingers over the back of his tricep. I'm gonna pull his front leg to me as I take an outside step, bringing my partner's weight forward. When I change elevation, my hand is gonna help pull my partner's weight over the top of me as I drop my knee to the ground. This is now gonna put my partner in a compromised position where I'll be able to push into him as I bring my trailing leg forward and begin to drive my weight up. If I've done well enough of a job, I'll typically put my partner's hands on the mat. Sometimes our partners are gonna be too strong where their hands won't hit the mat, but we'll go ahead and start with that. Push in, head meets hands, we meat hook, we push our partner in, that break comes on, pull that front leg forward, change elevation, pass my partner's arm to throw it into my pocket and connect onto their leg. Bring my trailing leg up as I begin turning the corner, and now we can start to pick my partner's leg up. If he chooses to stand up with us, we end up with our outside single. All right, now, utilizing your inside single or your high crotch, whatever your favorite name for that technique is, personally, high crotch. As we use our high crotch, it's gonna be our entry so that we can now learn how to transition from a single leg into a double leg takedown. It's gonna help us keep our neck in a safe position once we get past our partner's arms. Now, here we begin. So, head meets hands, meat hooks are in the inside to dominate that push. We push, push, push. We take our thumb, we go past our partner's tricep to get purchase on their elbow. As we pull this front leg towards us, their weight now is coming forward. That allows us to change elevation and pass their arm over our shoulder and into our back pocket. Now we can begin connecting ourselves to our partner's single leg. This trailing leg foot has to come up so that I can now connect to both of my partner's knees. I'm gonna pop up to both of my feet, and I need to run my feet to the other side of my partner's knees. This is gonna allow me to use my hips to squat and pick my partner up so that I can turn them like a bus wheel and use this to bring them down to the mat, effectively making you look like a better wrestler than what you really are. So, head versus hands, we push with those meat hooks, push, push, push. We use that purchase on that elbow to pull them towards us, change elevation, shoot my high crotch. We swap our feet to run to the other side to get our lift, to turn our partner into our double leg takedown. Using the elbow pass off of the meat hooks, sometimes we're gonna run into some jiu-jitsu guys who know how to wrestle. Now, if we're trying to change elevation with our partner, when we have connections on the inside position, sometimes our partner is able to change elevation with us. Every time I squat, he squats with me. Meaning I'm not getting past my partner's head. And certainly, I'm gonna have a hard time getting past their hands as well. Now, to combat that, we're gonna use an elbow pass with the same mechanics that we had earlier with that push into those meat hooks. When my thumb slides past, I can now use this as a way to push my partner's arm across their center line, effectively opening up one side of their body. This now allows me to step forward with my front leg for penetration, so that I can now create connection between my shoulder, hip, and knee with my partner, and then effectively begin running my double. Through the whole drill, it'll look something like so. Head and hands, we push into our partner. As we push, and that break comes on, thumb goes past so that I can now push my partner's elbow across, retract my lead hand so that I can step to the inside, connect to my partner's knees, trailing leg comes forward, shuffle my feet to the other side as I lift, and now I have a double leg off of an elbow pass. So, we start one more time. Head and hands, we push into our partner, they stop us, hand goes past to pull that elbow across, pull this arm, step to the inside, shuffle my feet to the far side knee, lift, and now we can bring our partner down. All right, so collar snap doesn't work. Our partner's too good of a wrestler, they're too smart, too handsome. However, when we try to do that collar snap, they just keep themselves in that standing position. We don't have to hang too hard on that collar tie because our partner's gonna do most of the work for us. When we push into our partner and they stop us, when we start to get our hand behind their head, when we pull that head down, we'll feel an immediate resistance. From here, we can just let our hands slide right off as we change elevation so that we can start entering into our shots. Now, swap positions real quick. Let's move forward. Push. We push. When that happens, that collar tap, that snap down comes on, he doesn't go down, his feet square up. As his feet square up, now we can change elevation, drive that knee over our toes, connect ourselves to our partner's knees, trailing leg foot comes up so that we can pop up to our feet. Now we can run across, lift our partner, and now we can start dumping them onto their back. One more time. So, we're in a proper wrestling stance, head meets hands, boom. We push. We try that snap down, it doesn't work, so we use that to take a shot into our partner, and now we can take them down. Okay, so we talked about it earlier when we talked about 50-50 positions to avoid. Mutual collar ties. If my partner collar ties myself, I don't want to answer with a collar tie. If I answer with a collar tie from my partner, when he collar ties me, nothing's really going to happen from this position. He'll push me and I'll push him, and if we try to collar snap, if we try to snap each other down, we won't really be able to create enough space between our partners and ourselves and enough disconnection to get that snap down to work. When my partner collar ties me, from here, he should be using a push to move me backwards. I can combat that push by taking my opposite arm to post on the inside of his shoulder. Now, as I'm posting on my partner and he's posting on me, there's going to be a pillar effect that's happening where both of us are leaning in. From here, my rear hand now is going to bump on my partner's elbow as I shuffle my feet to the outside. This hand is now going to catch my partner's neck. As he pushes into me, I'm going to hit my slide by to catch my partner. From here, my goal is to put my partner's hands on the mat so that I can use this to dominate from the quad pod position. We did cover slightly how to dominate from the quad pod position earlier, but we'll go into more detail deeper into the instructional. When we get met with that collar tie from our partner, we're going to go ahead and post on their shoulder to get a push back, going back into them. When they push back into us, that's our proper timing now to bump their elbow as we shuffle our legs to the outside to put their hands on the mat. Once our partner's hands hit the mat, we typically will be able to take their back, knock their hips down past their guard to continue moving towards our scoring position. However, if we do this wrong in the slide by, when our partner collar ties us and we push into them, one way that we can get this wrong is as we slide by our partner, we can take our hands and go around their waist. As we go around our partner's waist, he can now wrap my outside arm and kick over my outside foot to now throw me with either a maki komi, if you're one of those pretentious jiu-jitsu people that says things in Japanese, or a lat whip, if you're American. You don't want to get thrown by that, so you want to stay off the waist. So if we do it one more time, if we push into our partner and they collar tie us, we push back into them. When that tension comes, we'll slide them by. And then from here, we pull their hands to the ground, and now we can get our knee to the inside to try to dominate from the quad pod position. All right. Unfortunately, not all of your partners are going to be terrible. You're going to have a couple of them that are doing pretty decent. If they use the collar tie in an efficient manner, it's going to be hard for us to typically just brush it off. So to counter our partner's single collar tie, we're going to use the Russian collar tie, or 2-on-1. Now, we start in our head versus hands position. That collar tie comes in. When that collar tie comes in, they're trying to dominate the push. Same thing, I combat that push by posting on their opposite shoulder. When this happens, that same bump on the elbow is coming up like I'm checking my wristwatch. My pushing hand is going to come and try to catch that wrist. As I step to the outside, I'm turning my head and shoulder to slide that hand in front of my face so that I can get my head in between my partner's head and neck. If I've done this right, I'll be able to pull my partner down to the quad pod position and then do a backstroke so that I end up with my arms in the correct spot. We start again. My partner collar ties me and has good head connection. I post into them to stop their push. Now I can bump on their elbow as I catch it when it comes in front of my face and dominate with my head and neck. I can put them down to the ground, backstroke, and end up in my quad pod position. All right, so using your Russian tie to set up an arm drag. So our partner collar ties us. We respond by pushing in, wristwatch behind the elbow. We pass this arm in front of us, and as we get this dominant position with our head, we can now take our hand that's on the wrist and begin to reach over the top of our partner's arm into their armpit. This inside hand is now going to reach behind our partner onto their lat. We need to step to the inside with our lead leg so that we can now start turning and pivoting our inside toes to try to knock our partner down. If our partner begins to put their hands on the ground, then we can start to insert our spiral hook and our near side underhook so that we can push into them. When they carry that weight on their far hands, now we can pivot and turn, and we can begin to knock them down from that quad pod. Now, collar tie, I push back into him to stop him from pushing me. I use my wristwatch to clear this tie into my Russian tie. As I have control, front hand comes into that armpit, rear hand goes behind that lat. Front leg needs to step to the inside so that I can dominate the inside position. Now I can begin turning and putting weight in my partner's hands. From here I can insert my spiral hook, insert my near side underhook, push into my partner. As he pushes back into me, pivot, turn, and we can knock our partner down. Okay, now our partner is knowledgeable on how to defend that Russian tie. They realize that they need to create space and separation between our head and their neck and shoulder region. So, in reality, they bring that hand to post with their form across our neck. When that happens, go ahead, collar tie, push. When this happens, this hand is now occupied. This second hand that we have control over is going to give us a little bit of help. We're going to push this hand up into theirs to knock it out of the way, effectively opening up that inside position. We can step inside their legs, and now we can use this to wrap a body lock. Once we've wrapped the body lock, we already know how to finish this. We pivot on our inside toes as we backtrack with our rear toes so that we can spin and take our partner down. So, head meets before hands, collar tie comes in, I post to push my partner back, use my Russian tie to get rid of his collar. Now as I'm right here, he posts on my neck and shoulder. I push up on his arm, penetrate to the inside, and now I can acquire my body lock. I'm going to pivot on my inside toes as I backtrack with my rear toes, pulling my partner down, and now we've gotten our body lock takedown. Okay, now we get caught in a Russian tie. One, it's probably because you suck at wrestling. But two, getting out of the Russian tie is not as difficult as it may seem. Swap sides real quick. My partner combats my collar tie with a Russian tie. His head positioning is what's going to get me in trouble. And to prevent my partner from getting to my back, I'm going to grab that inside wrist or hand. Now from here, my partner can't detach and reach around me. I need to take my head down and underneath my partner so that I can get my head positioned to the inside. Now I can push into my partner and also pull my hand towards myself. This gives me access to my partner's opposite elbow to clear this tie. This overhook now becomes my underhook. so that I can now begin to step in. The closer I'm able to get to my partner to the inside position, the more I'm able to step inside so that I can directly throw my partner off of here. When we do it again, I launch the shinny collar tie on my partner. He counters with the Russian. I collect his hand on the inside. My hand goes down below and then back into my partner's temple. Bring my hand closer so that I can secure their far elbow and clear that overhook. Now I can take an underhook of my own. I can even pull my partner to me to make them step closer so that when I step to the inside, I don't have to step as far through as I kick and toss my partner.